everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Thanks for joining us on this week's Thoroughbred Racing Recap. We'll begin with the big race of the weekend. It was featured here Saturday on ESPN, the Don Handicap from Gulfstream Park in Florida. First event in the American Championship Racing Series of this year. The Don is Grade 1, the purse $400,000, the distance 9 furlongs. The older handicap horses, here is the field of 9. Combined earnings of $7.7 million from the rail. Chief Huncho at 11 of the Romero. Technology, the 3-2 race favorite under Jerry Bailey, co-highway. Devil is due at 15-1. Missionary Ridge from California and Bobby Frankel's barn has the Eclipse champion rider Kent DeSormo in for the ride. Count the time. Pistols and Roses, 44-1, the biggest long shot on the board. Then it's Barkerville, Jolies Halo, and our Bud Long Shot on the outside, Irish Swap. From our ESPN telecast, here's Dave Johnson with the call of the Don Handicap.
They're off. A clean start, and on the outside, Jolies Halo shows that early speed. Missionary Ridge with the red cap toward the inside. Count the time is right there, third. Then on the outside, the Gray Colt Pistols and Roses is fourth. Technologies, Jerry Bailey inching up and saving some ground along the inside, fifth. Barkerville is next. The Bud Long Shot and the red cap Irish Swap on the outside is next, followed by Devil His Due, and Chief Huncho is last, some 12 lengths from the lead. And Missionary Ridge on the inside leads it by a head, and here comes Jolies Halo to challenge again. Jolies Halo on the outside in second. Then a gap of 2, and it's Pistols and Roses third, 3 parts of a length. Technology, the favorite, is shuffled back into 4th position by 2 lengths. Then comes Count the Time. Barkerville with the maroon cap on the outside is next. At the rail, Irish Swap. Then comes Chief Huncho in the white cap on the outside, and Devil Is Due is last. Down the backstretch, the battle continues on the front end. Missionary Ridge at the rail, and Jolies Halo on the outside, the half in 47 seconds. Pistols and Roses inches up now, a closer third, and there goes Pistols and Roses, the roan colt on the outside, taking command. Pistols and Roses on the outside to the front ahead. Missionary Ridge is second by 2. Jolies Halo drops back, and from far back, here comes Devil Is Due, closing steadily as the field straightens away in the stretch. Pistols and Roses on the outside has the lead by half a length. Missionary Ridge with DeSormo coming back at the rail, and down the stretch they come. Missionary Ridge on the inside. Pistols and Roses and Irish Swap. The Bud Long Shot closing strongly. Third on the outside. Here's the finish of the Don. Pistols and Roses by a hair.
A stunning upset for the gray 4-year-old son of Darn That Alarm, Pistols and Roses. Owned by the Willis family. Sheldon Willis actually picked this horse out by mistake. Now he's won over $1 million. The rider, Herb Castillo, the trainer, George Gianos. The reason he paid $91.40, second largest payoff in the 35-year history of the race, is because he had not won since last April's Bluegrass Stakes at Keeneland. And in fact, in his last 7 starts, he'd been beaten by a combined 80 lengths. The Bud Long Shot Irish Swap was second. Hard-trying Missionary Ridge was third. And it was the show horse that gets most of the post-race attention from our handicapper, Bob Newmeyer.
Well, perhaps you've heard that old expression that a horse ran his eyeballs out. I don't say it very often, but I did last Saturday. The Don Handicap, Gulfstream Park. You know, Missionary Ridge didn't win that race. As a matter of fact, he didn't even run second. But Missionary Ridge ran about as courageous a race as a horse can run. Let's pick it up right out of the starting gate. Missionary Ridge will break from the 4-post in the red silks under jockey Kent DeSormo. And if you watch closely, this horse is being hustled, urged, cajoled, giddy-upped, and just plain driven to establish a leading position in a race that will travel 1 1/8 at Gulfstream. If DeSormo's plan was to set his own fractions on the lead, well, jockey Craig Perrette and Jolies Halo had the same idea. And so the two dueled early, Missionary Ridge on the inside and Jolies Halo on the outside. But later on in that race, with a half-mile left to go, Jolies Halo had had enough. Couldn't handle the speed jam with Missionary Ridge, and would soon collapse to finish last, beaten over 17 lengths. But Missionary Ridge had a new challenger, the surprising Gray Colt Pistols and Roses under jockey Herb Castillo Jr. And it was their turn to hook up, head and head, nose and nose, a test of wills, a test that would be won by the long shot, with Irish Swap a flying second. But you had to marvel at the guts and grit of Missionary Ridge, who would be beaten 2 heads for all of the money, despite being hooked inside on the rail for the entire 10 furlongs. As for Pistols and Roses, that 45-1 long shot, this is another case just like we saw in the Stroop Stakes at Santa Anita. A horse you would have a hard time coming up with any kind of handicapping skill. If you're looking for a plausible explanation here, you're not going to get it. No, what I'm going to take out of the Dawn Handicap is not Pistols and Roses. It's the work of Missionary Ridge, who was as noble in defeat as any horse could possibly be in victory. Yes, on that day, Missionary Ridge ran his eyeballs out.
A couple of postscripts to the Dawn Handicap. Arthur Appleton, the owner and breeder of Jolies Halo, who finished last in the Dawn, announced the 6-year-old son of Halo is being retired immediately to stud for this season at Appleton's Bridlewood Farm in Ocala. Jolies Halo leaves the track with 20 starts, 8 wins, 2/3 earnings of over $1.2 million. Also, the race favorite Technology, who finished next to last. We talked to trainer Sonny Hine. Technology bled in the race. He'll try to get him ready for the races at the end of March. Now let's reveal the first National Thoroughbred Racing Communications poll, our top 10 thoroughbreds for '93. There is always extra excitement surrounding a Kentucky Derby winner. That was the case this past Saturday at Oaklawn Park in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Cal Partey's Lil ET. Last year's Derby winner returned to the races for the first time since having surgery last June to have chips taken out of his ankles. It was this 6-furlong, $34,000 allowance race. There's Lil ET in the distinctive orange silks with the white polka dots under jockey Pat Day. He looks trapped there behind a wall of horses, including Kelly's Copy and Darrell, the top sprinter, leading the way. But now Pat Day finds an opening on the rail and drives the Lynn Whiting-trained Derby winner through for a length victory in a 3/4 time of 1:08.2, the fastest of the current Oaklawn meeting. Lil ET is being pointed for the $750,000 Oaklawn Handicap April 10th live here on ESPN. Well, that's last year's Derby winner. Now let's turn our attention to some of the top 3 old candidates for this year's Run for the Roses. We'll stay at Oaklawn for the race immediately following Lil ET's comeback victory, the 6-furlong Mountain Valley. First major prep, the April 17th Arkansas Derby. Now, this race was won last year by a colt you've heard of, the 1992 Preakness winner, Pine Bluff. Favorite in this year's Mountain Valley, 9-5, Hawthorne Juvenile winner, Sawmill, coupled as the entry with assured success. Narrow second choice in the betting, Glen Hill Farms Linear. Currently second of the jockey, Aaron Grider. Here's Terry Wallace.
And here they come into the stretch of the Mountain Valley, and there goes Linear now, up alongside of Tonka's Mean Streak. A short success to the middle is third. Jacques Be Quick drops to fourth. The half in 44-2. Straighten for the drive. It's Linear now with a lead of length and a half. Short success is second. Jacques Be Quick third. They pass the 8th pole, and Linear has it under control. He leads it by 3. Jacques Be Quick, the great of the rail, is second. But it is Linear who is holding on, and Linear is going to win the Mountain Valley. Linear, the winner by 2.5. Jacques Be Quick ran second, and his short success finished third.
Linear has little trouble here, winning by a length and a half over 16-1 long shot Jacques Be Quick, and what was thought to be the weaker part of the Peter Vestal entry, assured success. Coming in fourth, his stablemate, Sawmill. Glen Hill Farms Linear, a son of Trijet out of the Expoten Mare TV Spot, was ridden by Aaron Grider, trainer Tom Proctor. You'll likely see him again in the next step towards Arkansas's Derby, the March 27th Rebel Stakes. A new 3-year-old contender emerged on the West Coast last Wednesday's 1.1 Bradbury Stakes. The setting, that's Personal Hope, drawing off to what would be a 4-length victory at Santa Anita under jockey Gary Stevens. The 1-2 favorite led from break to wire under Stevens, is currently Santa Anita's leading rider. Personal Hope is owned by Lee and Debbie Lewis. The colt was purchased for the Lewises by trainer D. Wayne Lucas in 1991 for $75,000. The trainer these days is a former Lucas assistant, Mark Hennig, who will now point the Stormbird colt for the March 14th San Felipe, then to the Santa Anita Derby. Should he do well in those 2 events, that young trainer may be taking this Stormbird colt to the Kentucky Derby. In Saturday's 6-furlong Swift Stakes for the 3-year-olds at Aqueduct, as indicated, decided to make things interesting by throwing jockey Cesar Pisano at the break, disqualifying himself as the 3-2 favorite. Only As Indicated's perfect record was damaged, however. Both horse and rider walked away from the incident uninjured. With As Indicated out, second choice Lazy Luke became the favorite and the eventual wire-to-wire winner here, beating Fighting Daddy by half a length to the wire. The Swift was Lazy Luke's 3rd win in 6 career starts for trainer Bob Kamak and Someday Farm. Lazy Luke
is a gelded son of Pancho Villa out of Quickening Dawn, ridden in the Swift by Chris Antley. Another incident of horse unseating rider came 2 races later at Aqueduct before the mile of the 16th, $100,000 Whirlaway Stakes. Over the brink through jockey Herb McCauley just before the race. He ran off and the stewards had to scratch him. It would have no effect on the race, though. Lob Lolly Stable's odds-on favorite Prairie Bayou, challenging for the lead now, would roll home.
And Prairie Bayou has now overtaken Patros, but Rower has found room on the rail, and Rower moves on through to seize a short lead as they come to the top of the stretch. Prairie Bayou is right there with them, and they're stride for stride. Patros is now back running third. They're coming to the final furlong, and Prairie Bayou is tested here by Rower, but it's Prairie Bayou by a neck, now by a half. On the inside, Rower trying to stick with them, but at the 16th pole, Prairie Bayou prevails and pulls away. It will be Prairie Bayou to go on to win it here by 3 widening lengths at the end.
An impressive performance for Prairie Bayou. He'd won Aqueduct's Count Fleet Stakes. Now comes back with a win here in the Whirlaway for trainer Tom Bohannon and John and Anthony's Lob Lolly Stable. The son of Little Missouri out of Whiffling has now won 4 of his 7 starts, earned over $160,000, made not 1 but 2 powerful runs in this one. Anthony and Bohannon had another 3-year-old running Sunday at Oklahoma City's Remington Park. A colt named Mark Tree, carrying the yellow and brown Lob Lolly colors on the outside here in the 7-furlong Budweiser Stakes, heading to the Remington Park Derby.
It's Tall Boy in front, then Mark Tree. Wally Badger is back in third. Duke of Crescent is racing fourth. Here's Mark Tree on the outside of Tall Boy. It's Mark Tree. Tall Boy at the rail. Mark Tree is getting the lead in the Budweiser. It's Mark Tree, 3 parts of a length.
Mark Tree, the 3-2 favorite, tested by Tall Boy inside the 16th pole there, but prevails in this Budweiser by 3/4 of a length under jockey Donnie Pettinger. Dallas Cowboy football star Tony Casillas' second-choice Bronco Bob finished next to last in the 8-horse field. Trainer Tom Bohannon made the trip to Oklahoma to watch this son of 49er win. He plans to keep him there for his next start in the Great West Stakes. Should he do well there, you'll see Mark Tree in the April 3rd Remington Park Derby live here on ESPN. Well, an update now from the Daily Racing Forum's Derby Watch. Some of our leading 1993 Kentucky Derby contenders. The early favorite, River Special, came up with a fever last Friday. Trainer Bob Hess says his 3-year-old debut will be delayed now until at least the March 14th San Felipe. Last year's juvenile champion, Breeders' Cup winner Gilded Time, is back in training now after being sidelined with a foot problem. We talked to trainer Darrell Vienna Monday morning. Said he'll try to breeze the colt this week, then make future plans. And the richest 2-year-old in the history of racing, the Dwayne Lucas trained Mountain Cat, out of the classics. He's going to have minor throat surgery, and he will not be back to the races until later this summer. As we go to the break, let's take a look at some of the cartoon art from Peb. Now, you don't think it's tough being a jockey? Fuel for this fire, losing Paramutual tickets. Back on the digest, into our second race recap now. Let's take a look at what the older horses are up to as we go back to last Monday's President's Day feature at Santa Anita. The 26th running of the $219,000 San Luis Obispo. A 1.5-mile turf race for 4-year-olds and up. Currently on the lead, the name's Jimmy, under jockey Pat Day. Here's Trevor Denman.
At the rail, it's Luck Aldoon losing ground, then Carnival Baby, Zalon. Codajan is coming smartly, though, in the white cap on the outside. Codajan making a powerful run. Toulon is too far back. They come for home, and here comes Codajan on the grandstand side, absolutely flying past them now. The name's Jimmy, Carnival Baby, but it's Codajan out here, moving like a winner. And Codajan, as impressive as can be, just waltzing home in the San Luis Obispo.
Wow, the French-bred Codajan picking up the first U.S. Stakes win of his career after more than a year of trying. This 5-year-old came to the USA in '92, won an allowance event, then went 6 straight without a victory. He did, however, finish second, Star Cozine, in his last start to San Marcos. Codajan was ridden by jockey Kent DeSormo, the Eclipse champion, for trainer Richard Mandela, and owners Mr. and Mrs. Gerhard Wertheimer of New York. Now to Saturday's feature at Santa Anita, the very short 5.5 furlong El Conejo handicap worth $108,000. Star of the Crop was to be the favorite here, but was scratched. Also scratched, repriced, and eccentric due to the off track.
At the top of the lane, Jimmy's Trick and Baylor and Regal Groom finding room at the rail. Fabulous Champ and Slurp and Gundagear on the extreme outside, coming gamely too. Wide open, Jimmy's Trick in front, Gundagear, Fabulous Champ, Baylor and right there. Arrowtown with a late run, one from the rail too. Fabulous Champ, Arrowtown gets through late. Fabulous Champ from Arrowtown. Fabulous Champ won it from Arrowtown.
6-1 long shot. Fabulous Champ edges out Arrowtown to win here by a half length under jockey Chris McCarran, the El Conejo handicap. Behind those two, the show spot was Slurp, while the favorite Gundagear came home last. Fabulous Champ is by Something Fabulous out of Bubblegum Champ, trained by co-owner Jerry Dutton. The colt has now won 6 of 19 starts, career earnings of nearly $245,000. The following day at Santa Anita, fillies and mares taking to the turf in the Mile Buena Vista handicap worth $110,000. The favorite leading the field here, that's Marble Maiden under jockey Kent DeSomo in the burgundy and white. Let's pick up Trevor Denman with the Buena Vista.
And it's still Marble Maiden, a length and a half. Sweevy now comes after her with a white face on the inside. Party Sighted is starting a late run too. Marble Maiden finding more. Sweevy and Party Sighted chase her home, but Marble Maiden's got her mind on running. She's tough out on the lead. Marble Maiden, Sweevy coming back at her at the rail. Marble Maiden and Sweevy. Marble Maiden is hanging on. They hit the wire. Marble Maiden won it ahead.
Darley Studs, Marble Maiden, and jockey Kent DeSomo just hold off Sweevy to win the Buena Vista by a head. The 4-year-old filly, who's by lead on time out of late comer, trained by Gary Jones. I told you last week, Gary recently suffered a mild heart attack. You can see in the winner's circle here, he's right back in action. There's Gary with a handshake for Kent DeSomo, celebrating Marble Maiden's win. According to Jones, he's never felt better. We'll wrap things up now at Arizona's Turf Paradise, the $100,000 Phoenix Gold Cup 6-furlong sprint for older horses. Once again attracted Answer Do, who won this race the last 2 years. He's co-favorite here with Cardmania.
They round the turn into the home stretch, and BG's Drone is trying to take them all the way with Honor the Hero coming on along with Cardmania. They're in the stretch, and between horses, that's Honor the Hero now charging up to engage BG's Drone for the lead. It's on the outside. Honor the Hero getting the lead. BG's Drone trying to hold second with Cardmania coming on, but it's Honor the Hero winning the Phoenix Gold Cup with BG's Drone second.
No three-peat for Answer Do, finishing fourth to Honor the Hero, a Doug Oliver trainee ridden by Tim Masters in the Phoenix Gold Cup. Time for the 3/4 mile, that's right, 1:06.4. He tied the record for that distance at Turf Paradise. Alan Burdick and Arnoff and Rebecca Euland's Honor the Hero is a 5-year-old gelding by Hero's Honor out of the Buckaroo Mare Home Wrecker. Paralyzed Hall of Fame jockey, now trainer Bill Shoemaker and his family will get at least $1 million settlement from Ford Motor Company stemming from that 1991 accident in a Ford Bronco 2 that left Bill Shoemaker a quadriplegic. The settlement was reached in lieu of litigation. Ford has indicated it would pay up to $2.5 million if the Shoemakers don't receive additional compensation from pending lawsuits. Our owner profile with Lob Lolly Stables' John and Anthony is straight ahead here on the Digest. Every month on the Digest, we honor the Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association's Owner of the Month in Thoroughbred Racing, as selected by a national panel of turf riders. Gainsborough Farm then sponsors our special owner profile. It's John and Anthony, and he took us to Arkansas. This is Arkansas lumberman John and Anthony. His Anthony Timberlands, based in Bearden, Arkansas, is a multi-state operation that includes 140,000 acres of timber, 5 lumber mills, and a treatment plant that annually produces 250 million board feet of lumber. And here is John and Anthony with a 3-year-old Lob Lolly pine, the predominant pine species in Arkansas, and the origin of his stable name that he started back in the early 1970s.
Oh, everybody from Arkansas enjoys racing at Hot Springs. It's a tradition in the spring when Oaklawn opens to spend weekends here in town, and the races are a focal point. And I began coming to the races here when I was a teenager and an enthusiastic supporter of the horses.
Anthony has used Arkansas landmarks for many of his horses' names, including his 2 classic winners, 1980 Belmont winner Temperance Hill, and last year's Preakness victor, Pine Bluff.
Well, and both are prominent locations in our family's history. Our ancestors settled, as I said, about 1840, very near Temperance Hill. And, of course, Pine Bluff is a prominent community in our state, and my grandfather and his partners had a lumber mill there.
In January, the loblolly yellow and chocolate brown diagonal quarters dominated at Aqueduct in New York and at Anthony's home track, Oaklawn in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Loblolly had 19 starters last month and was on the board 11 times, including 5 wins.
Well, it has been a good start, and of course, I'd much prefer to be owner of the month in perhaps May or November, but January will do in this instance, and we've had a couple of horses before Oaklawn opened win some races in New York. Prairie Bayou, a 3-year-old colt, and Aztec Hill, a 3-year-old filly, won nice races there, and we've had some other winners since Oaklawn has started here in January. It's been a good January for us.
John Ed Anthony has 2/3 of a Triple Crown with victories in the Preakness and Belmont. But it's that first jewel that he really covets.
Well, everyone wants to win the Kentucky Derby, and I guess after you win it, all you want to do is win it again. But you can't do that until you won the first one. And we've been there and challenged the Derby participants, but we've never been able to be successful. And of course, last year we had high hopes for Pine Bluff, but he didn't get it done that day. It took a couple of weeks later for him to win the Preakness, but that is a major, major goal of any racing stable, I believe.
This could be the year for John and Anthony's Loblolly stable. They continue to roll in February with victories this past weekend, as you saw, in the Whirlaway in New York and the Remington Park Budweiser Stakes. For information on how you can own your own thoroughbred racing stable, contact the Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association, Lexington, Kentucky. Program reminder, we'll start our March editions of the Daily Racing Form Thoroughbred Digest here next Monday, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Our feature race will be the big 3-year-old test in California, the San Rafael. See you next week. So long, everyone. The Daily Racing Form Thoroughbred Digest has been brought to you by America's Turf Authority, the Daily Racing Form. By the Illinois Department of Agriculture, promoting Illinois-bred horses year-round. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 700 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. This has been an ESPN Sports presentation in association with Winter Communications.